Hi. I'm a pianist and conductor, and I had one of the most penultimate experiences in bringing people together and uplifting them, or kind of being the channel, if you will. And I hear Abraham and Esther's voice in my head all the time in terms of when I go to lead, you're always there. I don't even know what I'm going to say half the time. And I know you know what that's like. And coming off of a real high, it's kind of the duality of how quickly we forget how life can be so good.
I want to speak to something here because alignment precedes the event and the extraordinary response. We're really out here on this leading edge. This is really an important clarification. On the one hand, we're asking you not to be conditional. We're asking you to tune to who you really are and then. So you're tuning to who you really are and then. But then your audience responds. Hard not to notice that. And hard not to sort of feed from it a little bit. This is the clarification that we want you to hear. The expectation of your audience and of your fellow musicians are all part of that momentum that you are then the beneficiary of. In other words, that's what we mean when we say we're all in this together. This is the one little distinction that we just want to put in there, and then we want to hear from you. So you tune in, you tap in, you turn on, and then it flows. And then there is always a response to your flow. And there's a tendency to then turn your attention to the response of your flow, which is treacherous. Because when they're loving you, it feels good. When they're jealous of you, it doesn't feel good. When they don't understand you, it doesn't feel good. And so we're just saying, now that you've got this understanding of how to calibrate to who you really are, just let that be your go-to thing to calibrate to always. And it's going to sound weird to you, especially someone who has audiences. Nothing in the world is more wonderful than to not have knee-jerk responses to anything. To be so calibrated to who you are, so you're just flowing it forward. Picture a water hose, and it's lying in the garden. It's been raining, and water's washing back up into the hose. And all you got to do is turn the hose on, and it flushes it right out. And so we're just talking about keeping your hose flushing. Yes? So important for people in public places, because the world is very hard on famous people, because they're not calibrated at all times when they are watching. That was that you were talking about.
And part of what I want to talk about is the backlash. It's not really backlash, but there's always something that falls through the crack in terms of communication, or something didn't get done by an employee, or the messy stuff that kind of falls through the cracks when you've got a lot of moving parts, and you don't necessarily have employees to cover all that stuff, and you're relying on people that say they're in the game but are not necessarily in the game.
But hear these words in light of what we've been talking about here. Most employers, or most leaders, or most teachers, you are in the game of manipulating in most of that. In other words, you're hiring and firing and training and teaching and making lists. A lot of that's wonderful behavior, and we're not wanting to make it sound like we don't think action is a good thing. We just want to make a clear distinction between the power of manipulating all of those forces and being so tuned in that the universe is attracting to you anything and everything that you need at all times. Because there are not enough helpers in the world to keep it all clean and clear for you. You've got to utilize higher power. The same high power that flows through you in your music is the same high power that keeps your life clear and delicious. Is this making sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, I'll tune in to mastery and I'll become a master and I will get on the stage and I will flow, and the rest of my life sucks because I can't hire good people. It's all one and the same thing. It's all the same thing. You are the common denominator. You are the point of attraction. So let's play with this. Let's calibrate. Describe the situation where something fell through the crack.
Right, and there's somebody in charge of a building maintenance or something that's upset because 2 or 3 things didn't get done. And I tend to be the one that they come to with their complaints. I guess that's what it is. If I'm wanting to...
So stop right there. I'm the one that they come to with complaints. So why is that? complaining vibration, orchestra leader. Orchestra leader, orchestra leader. In other words, they can't get your goat if your goat's not gettable. They can't push your button if you don't have a big old button out there. Push me, push me, push me.
And I'm very clear about that. And I ask myself, okay, what button did you put out, or what is it that's getting your goat?
What it is, it's just momentum of that. It's that you have standards and you do your best and you keep your rules and you do your responsibilities. And through time, here it is. It's true of all of you, especially you right now. Esther too. You get very good at doing what you do in order to live the life that you want to live. And then, as you calibrate, as you tune in, as you ask with more desire, your life gets bigger than you can manage through action. But you're still trying to do the action things that you used to count on, even though your life is too big now to count on the action things.
Spot on.
Yeah. But in the same way that you can't see the skier going down the hill and tumbling and say, stop! And he's going to stop right then. He's going to keep tumbling. And so are you, in that sense. But as that calibration is happening, let's talk about it. So calibration, someone falls short, they're not doing their job, leads to ramifications that others are complaining. Eventually the complaint is coming to you. So there's quite a bit of messy stuff in there that you're observing and responding to and not liking, and rightly so. So at the same time all of that is being calibrated, there's all the improvement over here being calibrated in the vortex. What do you think that looks like? It's hard to see it because you can see this so clearly. Someone said to Esther the other day, it's really hard to find somebody that's willing to do that. And Esther said, well, as long as I keep saying that, that's going to be true. So what is being calibrated? Can you articulate your desire that has been being calibrated through all of that?
That they present us with some kind of a checklist or some kind of...
Oh, that's still manipulating. That's still managing through manipulation. What is it that you really want? Ease and flow. Ease and flow and effectiveness, and them to feel uplifted in what they're doing in the same way you feel uplifted in what you're doing, and compartmentalizing and getting the job done and working as a team and feeling good in our collaboration and being good at what we all do together and being glad that we get to do it. You want to praise. You don't want to criticize. You want to praise. But it feels like you need a reason to praise before you praise, and that just isn't true. You want to praise because you are a praiser, not because something is praiseworthy. You want to expect the best because that's what you want, not because they're likely to give it to you. You've got to look beyond what they're doing, because if you just keep looking at what is, you just keep reproducing what is and then feeling bad about it.
Okay, let's flip the energy in terms of them coming at me.
You want your feelings to be unhurtable. And so if you're really tuned in, tapped in, turned on, then when they come at you, it might seem amusing, or you're all tuned in and you've got a viable solution that you can offer, but it doesn't rattle your cage. Oh, there's a new one.
I will say I've gotten a lot better at the rattling of the cage thing. I don't respond nearly the way I used to, but there's still a few things that show up.
As long as it continues to show up, it's still active in your vibration. You'll know when it's no longer active in your vibration because it doesn't continue to show up. But you see, you've all got this inertia going that you have to sort of overcome that goes like this. They're messing up my life. If they'd be different, I'd feel better. And we're not arguing with that. That's what conditional living teaches you. If this over here looks good and feels good, then you want more of that. And if that over there looks bad and feels bad, you want less of that. And then you want them to act more like them. But you don't have control. All you have control is of the thems that you attract. There are those who are willing and wanting to rise to all occasions, but you can't find them if your eyes are focused upon those that aren't, or if your eyes are focused upon those who you believe aren't. Every person that you interact with, whether they're strangers or family, doesn't matter. Every person that you interact with is like an example, a microcosm of the whole universe. So if you think of all these vibrating components out there, and you tune yourself and move forward with that tuning, and what you're tuned to is what comes out of the woodwork and plays with you. While that's true of the world, it's true of each person too. For example, Picture a light board about as big as this platform, and there are LED lights all over the board. And you focus upon something, and light lights up, which represents what you focused upon. And now, as soon as that light lights up, every light that is vibrationally compatible with that lights up too. And that's your momentary world right there. Whether you're at the airport or in traffic or at work, whatever you're doing. Now, got that? Every person you know is like a whole light board with all kinds of potential of lighting up over different things. You don't know what they've lived, what happened to them yesterday, who said what to them just now, what they're dealing with, but law of attraction is responding to it. So the only thing that matters, as far as you're concerned, is what you've got lighted, because if you don't have it lighted, they won't show it to you. They won't show that aspect of themselves to you if it's not lighted in you. Well, now, of course, you might want to just say, kill me now, because life has caused you to light all kinds of things that aren't serving you.
That answered a lot of that particular...
So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about being different than you've ever been? We're asking a lot, aren't we? What are you going to do about no longer letting situations calibrate you? We've been telling you for years, be a selective sifter. Look for the good stuff and you'll find it. Look for the uncomfortable stuff and you'll find it. But be a better selective sifter. But now we're wanting you to take it a more powerful step forward. We're asking you to get yourself calibrated and then. Get yourself calibrated and then watch what happens. And then get yourself calibrated and then watch what happens. And it won't be long before you are noticing a remarkable difference. You want to talk about something specific?
Yeah, it just left my...
Let's take the situation where somebody's not doing their job and they're complaining to you about maintenance issues or something. So that's a situation. And it makes you feel what? What were the emotions that that situation causes you to feel?
That I didn't honor my word, or I didn't, that the people that I entrusted to do it didn't do it.
All right. So they let you down, and then did you let anybody down?
I don't even know if it's let down. I think.
What are the emotions that you're feeling? You feel agitated, aggravated, irritated.
Like I'm in trouble.
You feel on the spot. Yeah. So they let you down and made you look bad. So you feel...
Okay, that's fair, yeah. That's inadequate.
That's big. That's a big part of it. They let you down and made you look bad. Happened last week to Esther. They were in a hotel still under construction, wasn't supposed to be. And when she walked in, she said to the manager, as there was a fraction of the hotel available to them, and Esther said, "We teach deliberate creation." This is like chaos. We teach deliberate creation, and that's how she felt. She felt like, I teach deliberate creation. I would like to demonstrate deliberate creation. I don't want to demonstrate this. But the universe says, if you've got some messiness in your vibration, don't you want to know it? Don't you want to know it? But the tendency is to try to clean it up through manipulation and words and behavior and checklists. Different places, different faces, nothing changes unless the vibration within you changes. So let's get on the other side of the page and calibrate it. I felt let down, and I felt like I let others down. We'll set that aside. Who am I in the world? Am I an uplifter or a deflator?
Uplifter.
That was easy, isn't it? And you don't have to think about it. You know that for sure. Can I tune in easily, especially when I do my musical work?
Yes.
I can tune in with musical work, but nothing else?
To a number of things, actually, yeah.
I'm a good tuner. Am I an uplifter or a deflator?
Uplifter.
Do I like to praise or criticize?
Praise.
Do I mostly praise or criticize?
Praise.
Are things mostly working out for me, or are things not working out very well?
Working out.
Am I happy in my world, or am I disappointed in myself?
I'm happy.
Do I understand this, and am I applying it, or am I flailing around without any direction?
I think I'm much more focused in this work now than I've ever been.
Do I have guidance that I recognize, or am I guessing?
Guidance.
Do I appreciate everything that happens for what it shows me? Or do I want a distorted view of what I'm doing vibrationally? So now it's all cleaned up. That much conversation has put you in a place where next time something like that happens, it won't feel as strong. You won't have as strong of a knee-jerk response to it. And eventually, it'll stop happening altogether.